Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games. I'm Lee, and in this video we'll be unboxing the Warcry Iron Golem Warband. I hope this video helps you find out a bit more about this awesome looking warband, and in the video we'll open it up, take a look inside, and then we'll work through each of the fighters and take a look at the fighter type cards and go through all their different abilities. Right, so let's do this. The Iron Golem, they were one of the first warbands to come out, and they were included in the first Warcry starter set. I didn't get that. I came to the hobby quite late, so I didn't start until I picked up the Corvus Cabal warband, and then when Catacombs came out, I got that set. So I picked up the Iron Golem as a separate warband, and I got them from Firestorm Games. The RRP's 30 on these. I paid 27, but I'll put a link down below to Element Games, and you can save up to 20% there, and so take a look at that if you're interested in getting them. So I mean, they look really cool, lots of different variety in size and their armor types. The box art's great, and it gives you a good look at the miniatures you're going to get inside. So it looks like we're only getting 8, so quite a small warband. So these guys are going to be pretty tough, I imagine, and looking at their armor, shield and weapons, that certainly reflects that. And we're going to get 9 fighter type cards, so we're going to be duplicating one of these, and then we get our ability cards too. Okay, so let's open it up and see what we're getting inside. And on all these Warcry boxes, even the newer ones, which is cool, you get the faction or warband rune mark on the little flap here, and that's the Iron Golem one there. Not the best looking one. The Caradron Overlords is a great looking rune mark. That's probably my favourite up to date, but this is one of the first warbands to come out. Okay, and on these older sets, they're a lot smaller, the boxes, and you get this nice tray that holds everything rather than just everything in the box. So we'll get rid of this. And there we get our instructions. Getting our fighter type cards and the ability cards. Our bases, and then our sprues, and then that's that box there. Nothing on that, just a generic tray. Okay, so let's take a look at the instruction book and see what we've got going on. So we're definitely getting 8 miniatures there. One's going to come on the larger 40mm base, and I'm not sure there's going to be too many different ways to assemble these or varieties of weapons to choose from. None so far here. They look pretty quick to build, pretty straightforward. This guy just looks like 2 pieces. Here's some variations here on the different weapon there, and here also. And then we've got our nice colour guide there for painting. It'd be nice just to see some contrast guides, because I'm using contrast paint because I'm quite new to this. I'm a beginner. I'm still learning how to do this, and I'm not up to this standard by any means, so I'm using the contrast paints and getting used to those before I move on to doing this properly. But there we go, that's our instruction book. And then we've got our sprues, so we get these smaller sprues. We've got like a double and then a single. Let's take a look. And we're getting some really nice shields and some maces, real bludgeoning weapons. So these guys are going to be pretty tough. They're not going to mess around. Got this kind of big whip here with the balls on the end. That looks cool. And here's our double one. So we're getting lots of armour, big shields and helmets. I mean, that one's great. Look at that. There we go. That's really great. And you can see the size. This guy's going to be massive compared to the dwarf there, the dwarf character. So it's really nice to see a good variation in size, and the different races all being included. That's awesome. So that's our sprues. I've got to say, after opening the Iron Jaws just a couple of days ago, it's packed with sprues. So going back to these older boxes, you're only getting these little ones. It doesn't seem a lot now. Right, let's open our card pack up and see what we get. So we get our fighter type cards and then our ability cards. And again, like with all these, you're going to get them all in different languages, or just repeated cards. We just need the English one. Let's put those to one side and take a look at these. So with 8 miniatures included, it looks like we're getting lots of different fighter types. We've got this Dominar, an Ogre Breacher, a Signifier, or Signifier, Drillmaster, Prefector, Iron Legionary with Bolas. We've got to have that weapon in there. An Armature, that's our little dwarf guy. An Iron Legionary, and Iron Legionary with twin hammers. So it looks like we're getting some good variation on the weapons, and I'm really liking the different kind of sizes we're getting. The kind of medium, the large, and then the small guy there. So that's really cool. And then we've got our abilities, and it looks like all the warband members are just going to get the one ability to start with, unless they've got the additional rune marks, and that's the double. There we go. And then we've got our fighter type cards next. So we're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we get our 2 duplicate cards. So we'll be needing these for those legionaries. If we're having like more than one, we can use these duplicate cards to keep track of all their stats during the game. So that's those. Okay, and now we've got our fighter type cards. So we'll go through each one and look at their statistics. We'll start with the lowest points and work our way up to this beast here at the end. So starting with our first one, and this is our Legionary, and it looks like he's our Iron Legionary with Bolas. So that's a really cool weapon, and we've got to include that in the warband for sure. So this guy's getting a movement of 4. He can take 10 damage with a toughness 4, and I guess that all that armor's adding to that toughness there for such a low character. And he's got the 2 weapons. So this Bolas here has got a range of 3, which is nice. He can make 3 attacks, strength 3, dealing just 1 to 2, 2 on a crit. And he's also got this kind of hammer weapon, which is a range of 1, 2 attacks, strength 3, and he can be dealing 1 to 3 on a crit. So you get a little bit extra there if you get a crit, but you're getting 1 less attack. So as a 65 pointer, that's pretty much what we expect. And that's a great looking weapon. I like that a lot. There we go, that's our first one, our Iron Legionary with Bolas. Next we're on to our Iron Legionary with twin hammers. And this guy's a little bit more at 70 points. Again, great looking miniature with the 2 hammers this time. And he's got a movement of 4, can take 10 damage, toughness 4. And with his hammers, it's a range of 1, can make 3 attacks, strength 3, dealing 1 to 3. So no extra abilities there for him, except for the one that comes with all the warband members, and that's the double, which is throw Bolas. Pick a visible enemy fighter within 6 inches of this fighter and roll 2 dice. For each roll of 4 to 5, allocate 1 damage point to that fighter. For each roll of 6, allocate a number of damage points to that fighter equal to the value of this ability. So that's really great. On just a 4 or more, you're going to get some extra damage there just with a double. And if you're rolling 5s or 6s for that double and you get a 6, that's a lot of damage there. And for these low point members, if they're in amongst it in the fight, you can really make the most of this double and deal out some big damage. So that's not bad just for the one, and it's kind of in keeping with the narrative of the warband as well, I think. So that's really great. So that's our Legionary with double hammers. Twin hammers, sorry. So that's our Iron Legionary with twin hammers. And next we're on to our Iron Legionary, and this guy's got a shield, and there's a choice here you can see on the card where he can have this kind of round mace, or he can have the kind of more blunt hammer there. So you've got 2 options, but I think the statistics are going to be the same whichever weapon you choose. So he's 80 points, so moving up a little bit more, and he's got a range of 4, can take 10 damage, and because he's got the shield he's a bit tougher, so toughness 5, which is really high for an 80 point fighter. He's got a range of 1 with his weapon, can make 2 attacks, strength 3, dealing 1 to 3 damage. So while you're getting that extra toughness, you're not really getting a lot more down here, but still that toughness is going to come in handy once he's engaged and amongst the enemy. That's going to help a lot. So not bad, not bad. That's our Iron Legionary, and this is the one with the shield. So that fighter type card there for the Iron Legionary is going to be the same for all 4 of these characters here, and so that's not going to change, and they're all going to get the throw bolas on the double as their only ability. Next we're on to our Armature, and this guy's got to be a Chaos Dwarf of some kind. So he's a lot smaller than the other models, and he looks kind of funny with 2 hammers there. He's on 90 points, so he's a little bit more expensive. He's got movement of 3, and he can take 10 damage with a toughness 4, so he can't move as fast as the others, as you would expect with his smaller legs. But he's got a little bit more damage that he can take there, and he's well armoured, so he's got lots of armour. And with his hammers, he's got a range of 1. He can make 4 attacks, which is nice, at a strength 4, dealing 1 to 4, and that's 4 on a crit. So for 90 points, that's looking pretty good. He's got that extra toughness at 4, and can take a little bit extra damage than the others. So for those extra few points, I think you're getting quite a lot with him. And for his ability, he's going to just get the double, which is throw bolas. So that's our Armature. Now we're on to this cool looking miniature, which is our Signifier, and he's only 120 points. I thought he'd be a lot more looking at him, but we'll just see what that ability is going to be. And he's got movement 4, he can take a bit more damage. It's going up as we go through the points here. He can take 15 damage with a toughness 4. With his weapon, which is kind of out of the picture here, but if we look at it on this one, again it's a hammer, but I'm guessing that kind of spear and shield is going to be the main weapon. And that's got a range of 1, can make 3 attacks, strength 4, dealing 2 to 4 on a crit. And so let's check out his abilities. So like all the other members, he's got the double throw bolas, and then for his rune mark here, which is this one, it's a triple called Stand Defiant. Until the end of the battle round, add 1 to the toughness characteristic of friendly fighters while they are within 6 inches of this fighter. Okay, so this is kind of more of a kind of rallying call, more of a banner, it looks like, than a kind of weapon where the ability is concerned. So he can give extra toughness to friendly fighters while they are within 6 inches of him. Perhaps he's just more like heavily armoured, and that kind of comes across in the narrative there. But I was hoping that would be more like a shield bash, where he could actually deal out some more damage with like kind of a double. But it's still cool, and it's a little bit different to some of the other warbands we've seen. So that's great, and that's our Signifier. Next we've got our Drillmaster, and we've got another cool looking chain weapon here. And I think it's great seeing quite tough characters that have got some decent movement and also some range that they can put into practice, and I think that's going to be quite interesting to play against some of the other warbands too. Thinking about how they go up against the Iron Jaws, who want to get in close. These guys are kind of tough enough to be close to them while also keeping a little bit of range to dish out some punishment. But it'll be interesting to see what this ability is that's linked with this cool chain weapon. But for 125 points, you're getting a movement of 5, can take 15 damage with a toughness 4, and with the 2 weapons, so the kind of club or hammer, that's a range of 1, 4 attacks, and strength 4, dealing 2 to 4, 4 on a crit. So that's pretty good for this weapon here. But we've also got the kind of chain weapon, which is a range of 3. Again, that can deal 4 attacks, and strength 4, 1 to 2 on a crit. So lots of attacks, not quite as much damage being dealt. So you'd be looking at using maybe this one more, but you've got that option of having the kind of distance there. But let's see what this ability is, and if that strengthens those statistics any. Okay, so we've got the double throw bolas, like all the members, and then this one's a quad. So quad's called Whirlwind of Death. Allocate a number of damage points to all visible enemy fighters within 3 inches of this fighter, equal to the value of this ability. Whoa, so that's really cool. So Whirlwind of Death for this chain weapon. I guess he spins it round like a lunatic, and then anyone within 3 inches of that fighter is going to automatically get damage equal to the value of the ability. Well, so if you've got 4 6s here, and you can get him up close and implement that, you're going to dish out a lot of damage to a lot of players on top of your normal attack too. Wow, so that's a really good ability. but it's a quad, so it's high. But for 125 points to be able to do that, that's pretty impressive. And that's probably my favourite one so far, and that's the Drillmaster. Here we've got our Prefector, and this one is the same model as the Signifier, so you can see them both here. So you've got to choose which one you want to go with. So the Signifier was on 120 points, but the Prefector here is 125. So for those 5 points, let's see what extra we get. So he's got a movement of 4, can take 15 damage with a toughness 4. He's got an extra rune mark, which we haven't seen yet. Let me just double check. Yep, we haven't seen that one yet. And his weapon here, this huge hammer, has got a range of 1, can deal 3 attacks, strength 4, 2 to 5 on a crit. So right away, this has gone up now, and it's not bad with 3 attacks, dealing 2 to 5. And let's see what his abilities are. So he's got the double throw bonus, and then another double called Spine Crushing Blow. Add the value of this ability to the strength characteristic of the next attack action made by this fighter, this activation, that has a range characteristic of 3 or less. Okay, so if you're sending this guy in against one of the tougher enemy fighters, and you want to up his strength so he's got a higher chance of making that attack count, this Spine Crushing Blow is definitely worth using. And add the value of the ability to the strength characteristic. So you can, if you're rolling 5s or 6s, that's going to add a lot. So that's really going to give you a good chance there of making that attack count. So I guess you've got to really decide on this miniature which way you want to go. You could buy another box, of course, but if you just want to stick with one box, then you just can make one choice on that character. Great, so that's our Prefector. With 2 cards left, we're going to move on to the Dominar, and the Dominar is our leader for this warband, and he comes in pretty low for a leader, 175 points. He's going to have 2 extra rune marks there, the leadership one and one other, so he's got 2 extra abilities on top of the standard, and he's got a movement of 4. He can take a bit more damage now, so he can take 20 damage with a toughness 4. He's got this huge kind of hammer with the spikes, and this is a range of 1, just 3 attacks, but strength 5, dealing 2 to 5 on a crit. So this isn't like huge, but still dealing 3 attacks, strength 5's nice, and 2 to 5 on a crit. But let's see what the abilities are and how they improve those stats. So we get double bolas like all the others. He also gets the Spine Crushing Blow, so that's a good one. So you've got 2 tough characters already, and now with the leadership rune mark, that's the double as well, and that's lead with strength. A fighter can use this ability only if an enemy fighter has been taken down by an attack action made by them this activation. This fighter makes a bonus move action or a bonus attack action. Okay, so if he takes someone down, he's empowered, and he can use that kind of adrenaline to make another bonus move action to get away or move towards another opponent, or he can take another attack action, maybe if he's within range of someone next to him. So there we go, so he's got lots of options there. He's got the top 3 abilities, and that's our leader, who's called the Dominar. And finally we're on to the last fighter type, and that's the Ogre Breacher, and this is the main guy of the warband and the most expensive points at 235. And for these extra points we're going to get quite a lot here. So he's got a movement of 4, can take a huge 30 damage with a toughness 5. He's going to get an extra ability, and then with his fists and these big like metal weapons, he's got a range of 1. He can make 2 attacks with a strength 6 and dealing 4 to 8 on a crit. So a huge amount of damage that this guy can put out, and with 2 attacks doing a 4 and 8 with a strength 6, that's going to be like a huge opponent to take on. And so let's check out his ability. So he's going to get the double throw bolas like all the other fighters in the warband, and then his special is the living battering ram. Until the end of this fighter's activation, the next time this fighter finishes a move action within 1 inch of an enemy fighter, pick a visible enemy fighter within 1 inch of this fighter. Allocate a number of damage points to that fighter equal to the value of this ability. So this is a great ability for a triple, as long as you can get him up close and then end his move action with 1 inch of an enemy fighter. He can deal some serious damage, especially if you're getting some 5s and 6s for this triple. So this guy's all about getting him right in amongst it and in amongst the enemy to dish out this massive damage here. So great, so that's our final one, the Ogre Breacher. So that's the Iron Golem, and a really cool set of miniatures in this warband, and certainly very different from the other Age of Sigmar miniatures that are out there. I really like the original Warcry warbands that have been created for this game, but it's also nice to bring in the kind of Iron Jaws and the Caradron Overlords and those kind of factions too, so that we get a really wide variety that we can play with. I think if you wanted to go with the Iron Golem, you're going to get enough here with 8 miniatures. You get points wise with the Ogre Breacher being quite high. You can fill out 1,000. Once you start moving up and want to expand into the campaigns to 1,300-1,400 points, perhaps you're going to need some more models, which would mean buying another pack. Or you could look at bringing in some hero characters, or using other characters, other miniatures to represent who you want to play with them. My goal with the Warcry and with the battle reports I'll be doing once I've got them all built and painted is to just use what you get in the Warcry warband packs, and then if I want to expand on that, it'll be with heroes that kind of go from one warband to the other, rather than doubling down and buying 2 packs or buying other boxes of miniatures. It's definitely cool to get the Iron Golem, especially as one of the first warbands that came out, so I'm really pleased with this. I can't wait to get it built up and painted and play them against some of the others. So let me know what you think about the Iron Golem. Have you played them before? What's good about them? What's their best tactic? What do you think works the best? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And don't forget, if you want to pick these up, I'll put a link in the description to Element Games, where you can save up to 20% on that £30 RRP. So I think if you can get them for £24, £25, then that's going to be well worth it. So they are affiliate links, but they don't cost you anything. In fact, they're going to save you money. And then any sales made through those links, I get a small commission, and that's going to help me develop the channel and expand into the battle reports and creating more Warcry content. So thanks so much for watching. Please like if you like it, subscribe for more content like this, and don't forget to hit that notification bell to join me next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games.